Okay, again, going back to my question, what are fenestrations? Starts letter P. Pores. Okay, pores. Alright, again, medical terminology. Fenestrations are pores. Why do you need pores? Remember, there is gas exchange in the capillaries and there's also an exchange of nutrients as well. And these nutrients need to go out via pores, or the medical term is fenestrations. Okay, so now you know, when you hear the word fenestrations, it means pores. There, pores, right? Intercellular cleft and your pericytes, which all help in the transfer of nutrients from the capillaries. The total area, is nice to know, exceeds 6,300 meters square and is 1 nanometer thick. The basic component of your capillaries is composed of a basal lamina or a basement membrane. You have a pericyte. Okay, the pericyte acts as a regulator. It regulates the exchange of fluids or substances from the capillary to the interstitial space. This is your endothelium, and once this is injured, blood clotting will start. Please note that some capillaries can be so small that a single red blood cell is all that can pass through it. So imagine the catastrophic clinical sequelae that will happen if you get a cut here and suddenly clot formation starts here. These arteries will clot very, very quickly. But if a capillary clots, does it cause an infarct? Yes or no? Will it cause an infarct? Not too much, okay? You're correct, Dr. Alright? There will not be too much damage. You know why? Because remember, the difference between the coronary arteries and the capillaries is there's a lot of capillaries in one area. We're talking about lots, thousands of, hundreds of thousands of capillaries in a particular area. So if one gets clotted, others will still supply the tissue with blood and oxygen. What do you call that system? It's called a collateral system. Right? Collateral system. We talked about collaterals before, right? When we talked about myocardial infarction, collateral system. So your capillaries, because there's so many of them, even if one is blocked, there won't be any grave clinical symptoms because of other capillaries in the area. Now, note that there are different types of your capillaries. Note that this sounds like an anatomy lecture, right? Okay, it's actually the introduction, just to show you. Because have you taken this up in anatomy? No, not yet? Okay, so that's the reason why I included it, so you understand what we're talking about physiology. So note that most capillaries are your continuous type. Now your continuous capillaries, take note, right? They are continuous in the sense that the endothelial cells provide an uninterrupted lining. The endothelial cells, or the endothelial covering of your continuous capillaries, there are no breaks, there are no holes, there are no cracks. Okay? It's just continuous. So it only allows water and some small ions to move through for the continuous capillaries. Where do you find continuous capillaries? Fingers, skin, and also your skeletal muscles. And they're also an important component of your blood-brain barrier. Please note that your blood-brain barrier is a network of continuous capillaries. What is a blood-brain barrier? Have you studied it before? I've heard of it before. Some say no, some say yes. The blood-brain barrier is sort of like a filter in your brain that filters substances going to your brain from the systemic or from the circulation from your blood. Why? Some substances can actually damage your brain. What substances? Common substances that can damage your brain is actually calcium. If you have calcification in your brain, that will cause a lot of neurological symptoms. So, substances have to be filtered. Drugs can damage your brain. A lot of drugs, when you learn that in pharmacology, you learn what drugs can actually damage the brain. You've heard of diazepam, right? Yes. Okay, what does it do? It makes you fall asleep most of the time, right? Why does it cause that symptom? Because it can cross the blood-brain barrier, going straight to your brain, causing that symptom. So that's just an example of the miracle of the blood-brain barrier. If we did not have a blood-brain barrier, we would not live very long. Why? The mere calcification of your brain, maybe at your age, half of your brain is already calcified. If we did not have a blood-brain barrier. Okay? If half of your brain is calcified, there will be a lot more mental institutions in this world than medical schools. So, note that the blood-brain barrier is a very, very important part of your systems. It's a filter in your brain. Now, the next type of artery we're going to look at is what we call fenestrated. Again, what's the word fenestrated? Pores. Okay, so there you have it. Fenestrations, your pores. Right now, these still allow molecules to push through, right, to get through the pores. Bigger molecules than the ones that can get through the continuous capillaries. They also allow protein to diffuse. Note, for fenestrated capillaries, protein is now allowed to diffuse out of these capillaries. Where would you find these capillaries? You would actually find them in the pancreas, in the intestines, or GIT, gastrointestinal tract. You'll find them in your endocrine glands. Give me an example of an endocrine gland. Pituitary gland, very good, right? Your pituitary gland, responsible for the stimulation of secretion of many glands in the body, right? Now, so endocrine glands, and most importantly, in the glomeruli of your kidneys. This is the type of capillaries you will see. It's part of your glomerular filtration barrier, GFB. Glomerular filtration barrier. Your fenestrated capillaries. Now the last type of capillaries we're going to be talking about is your sinusoidal capillaries. These are a special type of fenestrated capillaries, but they have large intracellular clefts, meaning they also allow the passage of red cells and white blood cells as well. Your sinusoidal capillaries. Where do we find? So we're talking about red blood cells, white blood cells. Where do you think we would find sinusoidal capillaries? Where is, very good, exactly, excellent. Bone marrow. This is where your red cells and your white cells are produced. How do they get to the system? They need to get into the system through the large intracellular clefts. What is the life